Welcome to My Hometown, the program that explores clubs, organizations, businesses, and issues across Nassau and Suffolk counties and sheds light on the different towns that are making a difference.
Hello and welcome to My Hometown. I'm Bill Horan, along with Nassau Community College student Gina Halstead.
Today you are going to learn about a community organization called the Oceanside Community Warriors.
Sounds pretty epic, Gina.
Indeed, Mr. Bill. Today we sit down with the Oceanside Community Warriors, whose mission is to promote a strong community through voluntary involvement.
Let's learn more about these warriors from our guests, Brian Driscoll and Joe Cibellis, who are both members of the Board of Directors. Brian and Joseph, welcome to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC.
Thanks for having us.
First, tell us a little bit about yourselves and your day jobs, because this is a volunteer organization, correct?
Yes, it is. My name's Joe Cibellis. I have a contracting development company I've been doing pretty much all my life. It's a family business that I took over in my early 20s after I finished up at here at South Nassau. At Nassau Community College, sorry.
And Brian, how about you?
Hey, good morning. My name's Brian. My job, I work day to day. I'm a New York City police detective. Also a family business, third generation. My direct family has over 200 years of service to the NYPD.
Gina, we got the police here today. We're well protected. We're in good shape.
I wanted to ask you guys what the Oceanside Community Warriors is and how did the organization originally get its start?
So it started through Facebook pages. People were complaining a lot about areas that weren't clean and there was trash, overgrown grass. So several of us were on one of the community pages, and we said, why don't we just go out this Sunday and take care of it? Someone was complaining about a specific area, so we said, let's go. We put up an event on Facebook, and the next thing you know, we had 30 people out there for the first cleanup. We were all out there with garbage bags, picking up garbage. We filled up about 10, 15 garbage bags on that first day.
You must really have good people in Oceanside to come out like that and just want to be part of everything and clean up the town.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Now, tell us more about the Oceanside Community Warriors. I was kidding you before the show. To me, if I heard that name, I would say it's a lacrosse or a football team or maybe a hockey team. But how did the name come about?
I think it was just, how do you put a name on a bunch of people that are just trying to get pretty much anything the community asks for taken care of? So I think Warriors is probably the first thing that comes to mind if you just basically take on any project that could be helpful and first thing on a Sunday morning.
Sounds like a good reason, but I still say if I had a lacrosse team, I'd name them that. That just sounds powerful, and it sounds like people are out to do a mission and don't get in their way. They're going to take care of it. Now, can anyone just volunteer, or do you have a set number, like you have limited to 10 or 20 members? Because sometimes too many literally get in the way. Yeah,
so we allow anyone to come out. Whoever wants to come out, they're welcome to come out any time we're out. We post what we're doing each weekend. Some of the cleanups we do are not child friendly, so we make sure we let everybody know that. Sometimes we're on a main road on the side of the street. We have a firefighter memorial. It's on a real main road where cars are whipping by, so we don't want kids at those events. But we do a lot of park cleanups where children are welcome and they can come out and do their community service hours, whatever's needed.
Actually, as you answered that question, I was going to say, what was the expression you used? Child-friendly?
Child-friendly, yeah.
I was going to make a joke about it, but that's very smart because, again, if you're on the main road, and it sounds exciting at first, the child wants to rake, but after about 10 minutes, they're tired. They want to throw a ball or play in the leaves, and then if it's some type of danger or just physical risk to them where it is or might be steep or icy or something, it sounds like a good project. So.
Yeah, definitely.
So we found out about the organization in an article in the Long Island Herald newspaper about movie nights that you were sponsoring. But I want to know, what other events do you have year-round?
Well, it's been a constant evolution, even from the cleanups and the people involved. So we've worked with every organization in Oceanside and actually outside Oceanside. So it obviously when we started in 2018, it was a little easier to be involved in different fundraising and stuff like that. Since then, I guess now post-COVID, we have been just basically GoFundMe pages, stuff like that. We don't sponsor as much things as more as we just try to be involved. So we don't sponsor much, just more or less get involved in anything going on in the community.
It sounds like the GoFundMe is a good way to get some money in. Does that work for you?
Yeah, well, we started out with just a bunch of people that literally came with whatever tools that that they brought that day, and now we've actually grown into a small utility trailer stacked with tools, some power tools, battery tools, hand tools, bags, gloves, and so we put up flags, holiday decorations. So we have a.
Sounds like a pretty well-organized group.
Well, yeah, we're trying.
And our toy drive, too. We have a large toy drive that I think it's up to 20 families now, local families around town. We teamed up with a friend of ours, Brianna O'Hagan. She's owner of EGP in Oceanside. So we teamed up with her. We helped her with our toy drive. This year, we must have over 500 toys at our toy drive.
That's really wonderful. I don't think community members... Even sometimes we see people like yourself in community groups, whatever town you live in, Mineola, Levittown, Montauk, but how important that is to the community. You're providing something to these kids maybe because of a loss of a parent, an illness, or just tough times in the family they wouldn't have, and they can still have a wonderful Christmas or a holiday. And to take care of the town, we don't realize, we think it just happens. The grass gets mowed, the trees look nice, those little papers we throw out of the car, or the cigarette wrappers, etc., that pile up. Someone has to move them. Someone has to do it, and you guys are good enough to do it. I always like to throw in, Gina, an embarrassing question, so let's see if I can catch the gentleman now. Who are your best workers? Is it the children, high school, men, women, seniors? You're going to get in trouble with some group, no matter how you answer this. But is there one particular group you say, oh, the women are the best, or the high school kids come out and they're diligent? And
I would say that the kids definitely, they come out there and they love every second of it. Last week we did a cleanup at Silver Lake Park for Earth Day, for International Earth Day, and there's those little, I don't know, what do they call those things? Sticky, the pine cone balls, those little balls that fall off the tree. There must have been 10,000 on the grass. These kids picked up every one of them. It was incredible. But we also have our best employee, our best worker is actually, he works for the county, and he's really good with the blower.
You said he's the best worker. Come on, give him a little extra credit. What's his name?
Michael D'Ambrosio.
Okay, Michael, thanks for all you're doing, and you're the best. So you have to maintain that status from now on. In the whole group, about how many members would you say that you actually have?
Well, there's no exact number because the way we work it out, it's not a very formal organization. We have all the board members, which is probably around 10 or so, who men and women, and that help us get our agenda for the year, help out not only at the cleanups, but in between cleanups. Maybe they can't even come to the cleanups, but they just help us out on the Facebook posts. So we've had everything from a couple, over 100 people to sometimes we go out and there's just 5 of us. So depending on what the event is and when the time is and what everybody's schedule is, that's how.
So you're like the Army, but there's a war, you recruit, they all come out and do the job, but when they don't need you, you guys you're the officers, you get together and figure out something to do next.
Yeah, well, there's Brian and I and Mike, and there's several that are really the core, I would say. But like every other organization, everyone has their place, but it's very informal.
Actually, that's kind of a good way to do it, because sometimes people like the environmental stuff, but they don't want to run a dance or a golf outing, and vice versa. Some others are very good at those other things, or they just tied into it. They want to help lost pets or pets to be adopted or whatever the cause is. So that's a good way to do it. You get different groups and they don't feel an obligation. So if they're on vacation, they don't have to cut it short or something. So.
Exactly. So just like you said, there's guys that love to go out there. They love to clean up every weekend. And then we also put flags up around town. I think we're up to about 100 flags that we put on the poles. There's some guys that want nothing to do with that. They'd rather be out there getting dirty, cleaning up the streets.
But I think is that a model that other towns use, or did you guys just decide to do it this way?
Like I said, we're very unconventional and informal. We've just kind of adapted, I think the way we started and the way we continue with COVID right in the middle. It's just been we just constantly more adapt to the situation, and it was a little difficult trying to figure out not to offend people if they got to us with a project that we felt like it was either on private property, it may have been an environmental issue, it may have been a county or a town issue, and people get offended. But we've done pretty good because we just always keep moving. And I think that's the key today is just keep moving and find everybody's strengths and don't pick on the weakness. It's just no reason for it.
Gina, whatever they're doing, I think they found the secret sauce. It seems to be working, right?
Yeah,
You're getting people coming out, they're donating.
Yeah,
so if they're doing it and the town is looking good, so nothing to lose.
No.
Absolutely. You are listening to My Hometown on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Gina Halstead along with Bill Horan, and today we're learning about the Oceanside Community Warriors, whose mission is to promote a strong community through voluntary involvement. Our guests today are Brian Driscoll and Joseph Cibellis, who are both members of their board of directors. Now, Mr. Driscoll, you stated earlier that you teamed up with Ms. Hohagen and Oceanside to do the toy drive, but I'm curious as to know what other community organizations that you guys have worked with.
Well, we've worked with the Oceanside Safe Coalition, Kiwanis Association, the Chamber of Commerce, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts. They come out to almost every one of our large cleanups. We helped the Girl Scouts this year with their Pinewood Derby cars, helping them cut the cars.
Yeah, we've also been very passionate about helping out the veterans. The veterans reached out to us early on. They were struggling pre-COVID, a little bit more post-COVID. So I'd say one of our tight relationships we're very proud of is working with the veterans in Oceanside and everywhere. But that's kind of worked out to be kind of our home base as well. Just very proud to be involved with them as well.
Can you give us some examples of the things that you do with veterans? Because I think a lot of people forget just how much veterans sacrifice for this country and the fact that they don't really get that much in return. So to have a community organization that sees that and also pushes that initiative is a beautiful thing to see. But can you give us more in depth of some of the examples that of like certain events that you've done with veterans?
Yeah, well, like you said, I mean, it begins and ends with veterans, right? We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the veterans, number one. Besides that, they reached out to us early on and they just asked for a railing or something had gotten struck by a car, and they were in the process of trying to get whatever they were doing. So some of our warriors came out who had knowledge and were capable in that field to help us put this metal railing back together temporarily, and that was the first thing. And then since then, we've actually we're involved in an event. We co-sponsored an event just to bring attention to the fact that the VFW was in the community and maybe needed a little bit of help. So we did very well. I think we raised, how much we do?
$10,000.
Yeah, for them.
These guys are good.
Great.
At that point.
10,000.
And then Brian could elaborate a little more on how we brought the toy drive as well to the VFW. So that was kind of a thing.
Yeah, so the VFW teams up with us with the toy drive as well. Their members, they reach out to them, and we have a small little get-together every year during the toy drive with some food, and the members come in, they all drop off toys as well.
Gina, I see this in two different lights here as you're answering questions. One, for community members, it's just a way to get to know your community. Sometimes we rush to the train in the morning, we get home, we have our own life. You have to walk the dog, take the kids to soccer practice, etc. But this way, community members get to know other people in their community. And often when I walk through my town, I realize I coached with that man 30 years ago. I was on a committee with that man. He's on a church committee with me. And it kind of brings the community together. And it's easier to get along when you actually know your neighbor. Sometime in communities here, there's 30, 40,000 people. Can't know all of them. But if you can get to know a few of them, people enjoy that and they like the social aspect. And on the other side, you're a real learning experience for the younger people in the community. When they see someone goes out and has to pick up those papers or those pine cones, they realize it just doesn't get done by themselves. And I'm just thinking, I don't even know if you thought through this direction, but what a good service that is, because it's teaching them a little responsibility. And if I throw that gum wrapper, somebody else is going to have to pick it up. So you're doing a unique service right there for them. Now, is there an age limit if there's children who are hearing this or parents to participate?
There's no age limit. If you want to come out, we welcome anybody.
And I guess if you can pick up pine cones, you're welcome.
That's it.
And so long as it's not in a dangerous spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing is we have principals and teachers from the school that have actually come out and brought their students, as well as the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, and we have probably almost every organization in the community is tied to the Warriors, which is nice. School board members, Kiwanians on the board, chamber members. We're doing a lot more recently with the Chamber of Commerce. So it is nice to be able to reach everybody and get the ball moving.
And I think you have all kinds of experts. You yourselves, you're an entrepreneur in the construction field. You said you're a New York City detective, correct?
Yes, correct.
So now I'm sure there's other people with other specialties. Maybe they're a dentist. Maybe they're, as you said, the principal of the school, run some of the local stores or operations in town. So it's good to know these people. Whatever you might need, someone you can either help out or perhaps rent a device if you need something special to do a project that requires expertise in that field. So it's good to have that going for you. Are there any stories you'd like to tell us about your day-to-day work with the community? Maybe one that stands out or helping a particular part of the community? I
mean, honestly, I think it's just been a great experience. I think the biggest thing that Brian and myself are always trying to do is be unified. I think that's the biggest problem. You touched on it before. We're all busy, and everybody's busy. So the VFW happens to be right across from the train station, but I think it kind of got lost, right? It was right next to the train station, but nobody really saw it. I think since we've done that, I think they're thriving, doing a lot better. So
when you say since you've done that, it sounds like you did a project with the VFW.
Yeah, when we when we went there and did a couple of cleanups, we do the toy drive. They obviously underwent some damage from Sandy that they had never really gotten 100% cleaned up. Like I said, they had a little damage in the front entrance and the railing. I think it just needed a little bit of attention, and a little bit of attention goes a long way because everybody's just busy.
That almost makes you guys, under the common words of today, influencers. So if you're working on a project, it kind of sheds some light on it. People take notice of the veterans, what they're doing, or the children if they're working on a project in school. And of course, because of your membership, you have a diverse membership around the community. They all know what's going on and can give them a few more words of praise. Let's put it that way.
Now, you both stated earlier that you've worked with the Boys and Girl Scouts, but do you guys offer community service for like public schools, private schools, religious schools, things of that nature?
Yeah, we do community service for whatever organization needs it. We'll sign their slips for the time. We've had the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, kids from their religion, from the local churches, the Hebrew school students for that need hours for Hebrew school. Anyone else? High school students, the honor roll students, they need that.
I think that's the other thing. Because we're not structured, it's so informal that it's not like you go and walking into a room full of people that you don't know, and that it's where they usually meet us somewhere on neutral ground, so to speak, right? They meet us in a park. They meet us on a street corner. It's a little bit. I think that's been the biggest, asset as far as that goes. So if people reach out to us, they already have a quick conversation, whether it's a text, a phone call, or a Facebook connection. And when they show up, like I said, you're on neutral ground in a park, usually on a Saturday or Sunday morning. And we're always looking to try to do. And like I said, I can't say enough. Without everybody, it's nothing, right? So when you have the school board members especially involved, when you have, Kiwanis, the chamber, everybody is looking. So it's like now, in the beginning, it was like, how do we handle it? Now it's like, who fits the best, right? Who could sign these hours? Who's going to help out this student or person that needs some kind of assistance? I think that's the nicest thing.
More and more, it sounds like this organization has almost self-developed, and in a very positive way. In other words, you didn't need a structure, president, vice president, et cetera. You just guys want to help out. You want to do it. You get out there and you do it.
No, I think the structure hurts. I honestly believe in my heart of hearts that structure sometimes you need it to a certain extent, but it can hurt too. So I think we've done a good job masking that.
I think everybody's going to start wanting to copy you guys and say, I guess you don't have a formal meeting, or do you have formal meetings?
We do, but again, not. Brian could comment on that stuff more, but not that much.
In most organizations, the first Monday of the month, the first Thursday of the month, we just go on the fly. I think we need a meeting. We got to set up for the next quarter. We got to talk about the toy drive. We got to talk about what's coming up next. I mean, we've started with just sweeping the streets, and now it's moved on to bigger and better things, and we just keep going, reaching for the stars. I mean,
well, if you're doing the right thing and if it's working, what do they say? Don't interrupt it. If it's working, keep doing it. Gina?
So I saw that you have a fundraiser coming up in June along with the Knights of Columbus, where the Knights and Warriors combine, I suppose. Can you tell us more about that event?
So they're hosting a cigar event to raise some money for both organizations.
And what else is good?
It's going to be raffles, giveays, things like that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. We all like raffles.
And how does that benefit you both? Just as far as networking, things of that nature.
Well, first of all, we were trying to push that date early on. We've had a couple of projects, again, post-COVID, that we've tried to put together. And because we were so connected to the VFW, we don't want to break any connection, but we were trying to make another connection with other organizations. And the Knights of Columbus is very strong as well in our community. It's obviously one of the headquarters. They have their financial institution there as well as a good-sized catering hall. So some of the members we had a great connection with, and we were trying to put something together. It all started because we were trying to help out the local church just before Easter, but we are looking forward.
You are listening to My Hometown on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Gina Halstead along with Bill Horan, and today we're learning about the Oceanside Community Warriors, whose mission is to promote a strong community through voluntary involvement. Our guests are Brian Driscoll and Joseph Cibellis, who are both members of their board of directors. Now, how can someone join Oceanside Community Warriors?
So if you're interested in joining, you could come on to our Facebook page. You can message our Facebook page. It's our Oceanside Community Warriors. Or you could email us at oceansidewarriorsny@gmail.com. And we'll add you to our mailing list.
Gentlemen, I'm going to ask this, and I'd like each of you to answer in your own separate view. What was the one event or incident that you did as part of this project that really stayed with you and said, you know what? I'm making a difference in the world. I'm really doing something. And if it's an individual that you helped, you don't have to mention their name if it would be embarrassing. But if it's appropriate, you certainly can do that.
Well, I think the first cleanup was the most impactful. I mean, we went out there, we cleaned it up, and the next thing you know, we had over 2,000 people on our Facebook page. Within weeks, people were so interested in what we were doing, and they wanted to come out and help, which I thought was amazing. Also we're looking in the future. I think is going to be the most impactful. We're looking to get a community festival, so we have that scheduled for September 30th, with the rain date October 1st. That I think is going to bring the community together. We're getting some local bands to perform, a DJ. We're going to have some food eating contests, some things for the kids to do. We're going to be teaming up with local businesses, the VFW again. So we're really looking forward to that.
I think that food eating contest in today's world with the hot dog eating contest we keep seeing, I think you've got a little avenue there that's going to be a big draw and get people in.
You had me at food.
Me too. I hope there's cheeseburgers. Joe, how about you?
Well, oddly enough, I wasn't at the first cleanup. I came probably the second or third one, and it was one of the things, like you said, it was just so much energy to see a lot of enthusiasm. Everybody was head down, just on a mission to get whatever project we decided, whether it was a monument getting cleaned up or just picking up trash on the side of the road. And I think I can't single out one. I just say, just go back to Earth Day, like you said, when you could see all these little kids on their hands and knees picking stuff up, throwing it in a garbage bag with their parents, watching, taking pictures. It's been endless, and there's not one that I could single out that's better than the other. I'm happy to see everyone working in the same direction. That's the biggest key. And like he said, I mean, this event is going to be hopefully with the VFW and the Oceanside Chamber as well. One of the things that I guess that we've been so blessed with is that when we started out, and every bagel store, so Oceanside's a pretty big community, so there's not just one bagel store, right? There's 5, right? So, and everywhere we go, people, when they see us on a Sunday morning wearing a jacket or a shirt, they say, are you going to the cleanup? And they give us the stuff, right? So whether it's Long Island Bagel, whether it's a big business like a Mercedes-Benz, or yesterday I went into Sherman-Williams paint store, and he says, you're with the Warriors? I said, yeah. And he says, is this for a Warriors? I said, no, this is for my business. They just, the acknowledgement and the gratefulness I think is the best part.
It's wonderful as I'm hearing you say this and taking it in. We keep seeing things on the news, and of course it's always the negative, always the bad. But this seems to be a tribute to the power of the people. You said you had thousands or hundreds of people out for one of the first events, And
it was 30 the first event, but the last event we had over 100. That was just this past
to get
weekend.
that many people in a town, people are busy today. They're going to school, they're working late hours, etc. And to be able to do that and getting the people doing it, it shows that if we all just get together, and like you said, now instead of you being the customer and they're the merchant, you're kind of co-members of the same town, which you are. You're both trying to make the town better, and they reach out to you. I mean, a little humanity in the world where all we do is talking to our cell phones. It's nice to see each other, nice to see, and especially after only a few years, if they're already greeting you by saying, oh, you're one of the Warriors, that's pretty cool. I think you guys have, and the other members of your organization have really done a fantastic job. I think most of us should be copying that.
Yeah. We've had a couple towns reach out to us interested.
I thought so. Yeah, I would definitely, because, again, why not? It's working. And if it works, let's do it.
And
Gina?
aside from bringing your community together, I think it's also a phenomenal thing that you are actively making the world a better place as far as like the cleanups and the monuments. And to say that you have such a large amount of people who are taking that initiative and interested, because me being young, I'm originally under the impression that our society originally doesn't care about our world in terms of like how it looks or pollution and things of that nature, things that go into environment. So to know that there are people who are actively day in and day out making the world a better place is a good thing to know. But for those who might not be able to help, like hands-on or physically, how are you guys funded, and do you accept donations?
Yeah, so just so you know, we are a 501c3 nonprofit, and we do have a GoFundMe page. We put out every year. We put up a GoFundMe page for the new season, so that's on our Facebook page right now, or through PayPal, and everything's tax deductible, which is nice.
Those are words we like to hear. That's always good. Gentlemen, what would you like to leave us with to our audience? Tell us that if there's an event coming up or a way to reach you, that we can be part of the Community Warriors.
Yeah, just thank you for having us. I wish this could have went for another half hour because we could talk all day about it. So I'm sure there's a lot of stuff we missed, a lot of people we missed, but we just want to thank the community they've supported us from day one. You know, they got us. It was amazing to see a couple of weeks in. We get a nonprofit a month or two in. Now we have a trailer with any equipment we need for these cleanups. It's just a thank you to the community. Thank you to everybody that comes out with us weekly. Thank you to the board.
Well, we're honored today to have really two of the good guys on Long Island, Brian Driscoll and Joe Cibellis, from the Board of Directors from the Oceanside Community Warriors. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
We appreciate you taking time from your schedule, and I'd like our audience to know that we're wrapping up right now. I'm Bill Horan from Nassau Community College and WHPC. I'm here with Gina Halstead. We thank you for listening to this week's edition of My Hometown.
We like to get your feedback on My Hometown. Send your comments to whpc@ncc.edu. Nassau Community College, where success starts and continues. Till next time, this is Bill St. James. And remember, there's no town like your hometown.